Bada bing, bada boom. Salutations, class, and welcome back. Warmest welcomes to Marky and Storm. Delighted to see both of y'all this evening. I hit the unpause button. Let me reach around this. Oh, right. I need to indicate y'all the technical difficulties I'm currently having. Problem exists between user and keyboard, in which there happens to be a cat-shaped object in the way. Did I? Nope. Come on. He is in the way of me trying to hit my keys. There we go. There we go. And so we begin. Now you're having cereal after playing some MC Dungeons. Tell me about MC Dungeon, Storm. Today is a very, very special stream, as this is going to be the capstone of our run. Not the final stream, but the most important one, as here... Oh, you redeemed first and you're not recognized as being... I'm sorry, Nev. Alright, I'm seeing the actual first redeem now. That might have happened while I was away from my keyboard getting the preparations. If I see it flicker in the corner of my eye, I will definitely notice it, but if it's there when I've not been paying attention to my secondary screen, I will probably miss it. But welcome, Nev. Congrats here on being first, and very, very much a welcome in. Yeah, I've heard Minecraft Dungeons is really good, but just doesn't get any recognition among the fan base. So, our last stream involved us getting our way through Victory Road, which was a struggle for sure. And now we're finally at Indigo Plateau, but... we took a little detour, because where we are now is preparing to add the final member of our team. We've got our whole setup here, with the whole idea being use a whole bunch of flash and... yeah, I suppose we'll have to do reflect to get rid of some of the drill peck shenanigans going on. Whole bunch of flash to lower the accuracy on Zapdos, get a few points of damage down, hopefully not land a Paralyze with Thunderbolt and or Spark. We might have an option for an attack that ends up doing some pretty good damage otherwise. I think Thunderbolt's still just our best choice regardless. Yeah, I'm really, really sure that Dunatdan isn't going to learn anything super effective. So the idea is to completely bottom out Zapdos' accuracy. Dunatdan here having a quadruple resistance to Drill Peck, the only attacking move that Zapdos has, will help with that. Get a whole bunch of flashes up. Once the... oh, only 70% accuracy. Wow. I thought it was a lot higher in prior generations. Then we will swap to Bugsy to go ahead and false swipe down to the 1 HP amount. And Kageyama here can end up doing the sleep powder that we need to score the capture. And just in case, we can have Sidewinder just block a whole bunch of damage anyway. Heck, Sidewinder might even be good for lead just as well. Between 124... nah. Dunatdan has a bit more than half the defense, but quadruple the resistance. So that essentially comes out to taking only half the damage overall. Well, maybe it does even out. We'll try it a few times with Dunatdan. If we don't end up getting an absolutely beautiful, excellent Zapdos on the first couple of tries, we'll reset. But I don't plan on being here for the whole stream, because I would like to get through the Elite Four as well, so let's spend a little bit of time on this. Hey, honey. I'm sure all of y'all around in the group, that is such a good Zapdos sprite. Like, it's so plain, but it's so easily readable. The original Ruby Sapphire sprite for Zapdos was kind of weird. We can also use Reflect right before we swap just to make sure that, hopefully, anyone we swap to ends up surviving. It's sad, to be fair, it's a bit grindy and is a dungeon crawler. I mean, I think anything Minecraft related is going to be grindy. Kind of seems like that's part of the design ethos of the game. Also, Skrunko is reaching across the keyboard and really getting in the way, so let me see if I can. adjust to a different position that ends up blocking him off from obscuring my keyboard. Yeah, that should be the damage we're expecting to take. Howdy, Zen! How you doing? Yeah, for those of y'all less in the know, I do have a favorite Pokemon very clearly, and yes, it is Zapdos. I have a really big affinity for electric types in general, and Zapdos just remains classically one of the best electric types ever made. Completely sensible, Storm. Building Umas while watching streams? Heck yeah! Hope you're having a great time. As well as you, Usagi. Glad to see you too. So, scheduling stuff has changed a bit. I would choose Jolteon if we were using Eevee this run. Cat is... looks like he's trying to find a different position. Yeah, the yellow chicken. I've been looking for a zapatos pun to be making for this stream. Nothing came to mind. I didn't catch it. Did we bottom out his accuracy yet? There we go, there we go. So now... Actually, wait, we just want to do a few Thunderbolts to lower Zapdos' health. It probably won't end up doing too much damage. Thank you for the follow, Liji or Liji, however that ends up being pronounced. Please do instruct me. And Unlucky Paralyze. We'd rather have the Sleep instead, but this will work all right. This way we can end up swapping to someone else who can just tank for the remaining hits. We can also lower it a bit with Spark. Liji. Duly noted. Actually, I forgot which one I said second already. But welcome in, welcome in. We are currently on our Zapdos catching excursion. I didn't even see if Reflect hit there. Yeah, Liji. Okay, okay. It will cure itself of paralysis eventually anyway. That's not part of the mechanics in Gen 3. Alright, Liji, noted. Almost like Lychee, I imagine. Oh, we got the whole Uma conversation going in here. Let's see. I think Sidewinder can... Well, nah. We'll have Magneton Wall. Or heck, we could even have Porygon Wall. Since Porygon's gonna be able to just recover for health. So we are at the spot where, with 50 Ultra Balls in hand, we should be good to go. How does paralysis work in Gen 3? It's permanent, and it cuts speed by it cuts speed to 1/4, I believe. As well as giving the random chance to skip a turn. Yeah, they've kind of weakened a lot of status effects in newer generations. Like, sleep, freeze, and paralysis used to all be a lot stronger before getting nerfed. And I think burn went down to 1/16 HP decrease in newer generations. Used to be 1/8. Yeah, status effects were huge in earlier generations. So we're gonna have to end up doing this over and over again. Good news with both paralysis and sleep. The more turns we waste on Zapdos, the more likely that we get to capture it before it ends up struggling. While some of this is going in and out, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the IV calculator. We do want a generally well-performing Zapdos. I'm actually intrigued about another ROM hack I've been looking up. There's two ROM hacks, actually, which are kind of partners with each other. Welcome, Kayla. Sorry for being late. Was being a super nerd and vibing to the golden border of Presto John celebration. For passing all your midterms, let's go! So proud of you, Kayla. It sounds like it's a really, really great week for all of us. So, it seems like my new position has kind of started early. They did end up roping me into cover for my new position since someone who was supposed to be there was not there today. And it looks like I'll be doing that for a couple more days, so unofficially, it seems like I have already moved on to my new position. Been waking up at 3 a.m. Me too, but for different reasons, I imagine. I forgot Zapdos was actually this hard to catch. I guess I lucked out when I was playing the first time. I mean, I did have a Venusaur using Sleep Powder, Sleep Powder, Sleep Powder, Sleep Powder. Well, let me ask you this, Kahila. Is the end of your week, the weekend, looking to be good for you? Or is it going to be busy like mine? Every skipped turn is a blessing. If only we had leftovers, then we would just be able to stall this out by just having high defense. Would be good for Magneton. Yeah, I guess the strat is going to be swapping over to Porygon later. Heck yeah! Didn't take us long at all, only took us about like 8 minutes or so. Now, we will be trying this a couple of times just to make sure we get a pretty good Zapdos here. One of the legendary bird Pokemon. While it is flying, it makes crackling and snapping sounds. We're not worried about nicknaming, we are worried about stats to begin with. Not that Zapdos is going to be any bit of an underperformer. Naughty nature is a very bad sign, but just for a good laugh. Let's see what we end up with for stats. So we got a naughty nature. At level 50, we have 150 HP, 112 attack, 104 defense, 145 special attack, 91 special defense, and 111 speed. We are looking at actually really good special attack and physical defense, but otherwise very low individual values across the board. So, boink! Oh, whoops. Wait. Why did the cat end up getting big? Oh, I must have hit some keybinds while I was alt-tabbed. Naughty choice band Zapdos with HP fighting double edge and or baton pass. Yeah, but that would be a naughty-natured Zapdos with, like... Hold on, what did the calculator say? With a 14 in physical attack. So not the best of performance. I wonder if to save turns on switching, it might end up being better just to use Porygon for Flash Spam. I think it's overall better just for us to lead with Magneton anyway. We only need to resist a few hits, and then we end up being able to recover stall for the rest of it. I mean, Gen 3 Thunderbolt from Zapdos is still a really, really powerful attack. That was back when 120 in an attacking stat would actually be pretty good. Well, 125 on Zapdos, but... I wonder if we'll ever have time to end up getting into a competitive Pokemon arc. I used to do that a lot when I was younger, and did have more time to invest with it. 3 back-to-back flash misses. We'll be fine, we'll be fine. With the pressure, it does kind of end up being an issue. Maybe it would have been better if we had someone to spam Sand Attack, but I think we'll be doing fine. Do we have a Wide Lens? Or is that a Gen 4 item? Anything that makes Magneton a little bit more accurate, though, with those. And if we run out, we run out. Ooh, idea. Let's see how much damage Porygon does on average. Because Porygon can just use Ice Beam. Oh, pressure isn't good though. Yeah, we don't want Zapdos to stall into having to struggle. Good damage, but Porygon is not the method. Noted. And in this generation, Trace was the only option we had for Porygon, right? I think so. It bugs me so much that Tracing Intimidate in this generation doesn't trigger an attack drop. It's only good for completely passive abilities. Ooh, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. But we live. We live. And now for the coup de grace. Right, Substitute is a move tutor. We could even give Substitute to Executor to block against an unlucky Drill Peck. But yeah, we've got good physical defense. We shouldn't have to worry about another one. Worst comes to worst, I guess we teach Thunder Wave to Dragonite. We shouldn't have to be here too long. Where do we even find leftovers in FireRed? Isn't it a post-game item? Funny enough, it's a guaranteed find on Wild Snorlax in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. In the boat. Yeah, I thought that's where it was. Oh, or we use the item finder on the exact spots where Snorlax was sleeping. Okay. If this doesn't end up being a super powerful, timid nature Zapdos or whatever, then we go back and we do that. Something to have a little bit more passive healing on our walls. It's a shame we don't have access to Breloom, because there you can get Spore and False Swipe. And in later generations, you have really, really good health recovery with Poison Heal. So you can do Substitute as well. I didn't remember that, Kahila. I was looking it up on my second screen. I do remember that there were a very few special items that you get by using the item finder in exact spots. That's a little Easter egg we can go back and look at. Is Zapdos not good enough to warrant the luxury of the Master Ball? See, the Master Ball likely gets reserved for the legendary beasts. I will confess, I do not have too much of an attachment to this exact playthrough of FireRed, which I will get to rambling to y'all about in a moment. Hasty Nature ain't the worst. Ideally, we want Timid or Modest, but if we end up rolling a really, really good set of stats here, we'll just keep it. So, while I do love Zapdos that much, I think this version has the, Oh wow, that is a really low special attack. Compared to our last find, this looks like not a... Oh yeah. Our highest stat is 18 for physical defense. I think the Master Ball ends up getting saved for the roaming legendary, which we're going to run into Raikou. Alright, just to make this a little bit easier and less prone to absolutely catastrophic failure, let's hop out of here for a moment. It won't take us long to get back there anyway. Funny enough, when I was a kid, I caught Moltres in the Master Ball just because I ran out of balls by the time I got there. All the other legendaries ended up catching in an Ultra Ball well enough. Except for Mewtwo, which, funny enough, was in a luxury ball. Because I ran out of everything before then, too. When I was a kid, I was a bit less focused on knowing exactly what the best natures and such were, so I was mostly concerned with catching them for the sake of catching them. Did I already pass the item finder? Do we have the item finder? Y'all, we're gonna go look for the item finder. I think this was something we got from one of Professor Oak's aides, right? Okay, Route 11. I had a feeling we forgot something. Oh, yeah. Wait. It's this one right here. You should check upstairs more often. Yeah, here you are. Remember me? I'm one of Professor Oak's aides. Yep, 30 species. We are way past that threshold. If I ever find my Pokemon X version again, that one is sitting right in front of Zapdos. Because I wanted to be able to catch Zapdos with the whole good set of IVs and hopefully Hidden Power Ice. Because I'm a Hidden Power Ice truther when it comes to Zapdos. Though Hidden Power is taken out of the newer generations, right? Heck yeah. From deep in the ground of the wooden planks on the dock, sure. Oh, so we can just... yeah, but didn't Smogon ban Terra in singles? Or wait, no, Terra Blast. But that would be the whole point. But, Terra Ice Zapdos isn't really a good idea, is it? I think right here is where we're looking, right? Look at that, 2 of them. So, both Magneton and... yeah, we'll go ahead with Sleep because that wastes more turns. What does it matter if Smogon banned if it is in the game themselves? Fair enough. You can always do house rules with friends and such. Also, right, the substitute tutor... no, not Vermilion. I was mixing that up with Fuchsia on the map. Have you ever thought to upgrade my 2D model to a 3D model? Sorry about missing that, Lygie. I do actually have a 3D model in the works from a friend. But it was being done on a whim, and I think the person responsible for working on it ended up being busy with stuff, so it is something that's, like, allegedly in the process of happening, but I don't think it's actively being worked on right now. Does the Enna model count? Not unless I can actually swap it down to goofy different angles. Wasn't the substitute tutor down here? Also, really cool that this quote-unquote version of FireRed lets us do tutors an indefinite number of times. Okay, so it's this guy. I wish I was a Kangaskhan baby. I'd love to be a substitute for the baby. Alright, this guy's doing his weird, ramble about how much he loves Kangaskhan. We will temporarily not need to worry about Psychic. We'll get that back soon with our, infinite use TMs. That guy needs some serious therapy. Okay, leftover substitute, we are good to go. And you know what? Maybe even double up and add flash on. We should be able to use flash on Executor. Ah, the blessings of just being able to use TMs over and over again. One tangent I got cut off from earlier. There's two separate ROM hacks I'm looking at right now. One of which I've been playing, which has FireRed stapled onto Emerald, so it has both games in one ROM hack. That one I think I'll develop a bit more of an attachment to, just because it ends up having a lot more features backported from newer versions. And someone's working on like a mostly custom-built version that of basically the same idea. But it's going to have a whole lot of extra features. I like the energy that we get. Let's see, we have... There we go. I like the energy of the Gen 3... Gen 4 and Gen 5 games. Heck, I'll say it, just... This whole era of the sprite-based games that we got here. I like them aesthetically if they have... In a lot of the ROM hacks as they do, newer mechanics backported to them. I'd really be fine with just going on long ventures getting lost in a lot of these games. Why not snag T-Wave off Silphco? Because we're looking for Sleep Powder. We'd rather have Sleep Powder than Thunderwave. Celia's stupid ROM hack? Alright. Wait, is that a magnet pull can't escape, or is that a aggressive speed tier can't escape? Not that Porygon's gonna be any faster. Nope, it is not magnet pull. And noted, we do not want to have Magneton in the lead slot in case we do run into a magnet pull wild Magneton. We even came to that conclusion on the last stream. We're also not worried about that little bit of missing HP. The paralysis, yes, so we'll heal that. And Blocky's not really going to be involved in this fight, so paralyzed you shall remain. We should have full heals up here, right? There we go, I skipped over him. And I just muscle memoried onto the first Pokemon anyway, so we are good to go. Alright, save our game here. The two Mons that we're going to be using both have their leftovers and various utilities. As much as I love Zapdos, I like using it from Gen 4 onward because of, okay. I'm kind of evil. I'm a sub-roost Zapdos favoriter. Back when I did competitive battling with friends, I had a sub-roost Zapdos with Thunderbolt and Hidden Power Ice, not Heat Wave. Just because my friends really enjoyed, like, Garchomp, Flygon, a lot of those quadruple weak to ice Pokemon. I'm never gonna forget having the, having a fight with, against one friend where I ended up having Zapdos come out. Dropped a substitute as they swapped over to their Garchomp. And then I blasted them with Hidden Power Ice because they were looking forward to using, Stone Edge. I also had one friend who's really, really fond of Tyranitar, so... With that interesting little 50-50 game you have with Subroost spamming versus Tyranitar to get it to run out of stone edges? Ice for Lander. Fuse, I didn't know you had any experience with Pokemon. But welcome in, Fuse. How you doing? If Pokemon is up your alley, then I'd love to do some showdown sometime. Yeah, I've been waiting a long time for like a... Do we have an Ice Electric yet? It's okay, Fuse. I'm out of practice and I'm not very good either. Right, didn't we have one of the Gen 8 fossil Pokemon do that? You wish not to play Showdown with... Don't worry, we'll have a Showdown stream at some point just because I love Showdown. Yeah, Octus... Okay, so we do have an Electric Ice Pokemon. Is it good, though? That would be in contention for one of my absolute favorites of all time, if it's good. I know Dracovish was really, really good, but wasn't it Arctozolt, or was it the other one that had, like, actually pretty good use from abusing a double speed ability? Well, heck yeah, Fuse. It was the other one? Oh, so it was, Sandrush, right? On the Electric Dragon one, or... Y'all tell me. We're at the point... Oh, right! I forgot to attack the darn thing. Choice Band, Strong Jaws Liquidation. Was that Dracovish, or was that the other one? I think well, no, Sidewinder ends up doing overall the best damage here. So let's run a quick number comparison. We got a... Oh! No, I wanted to check summary, not... Here I am getting caught between talking and catching Pokemon. So, summary. 137 special attack versus 108. So we should be able to get down to, like, 33% health with a nice beam here. Pray that Tofu Novoro don't shank you, frame 1. I hope you have a wonderful time unironically with both of them. I have absolutely no malice in my heart when I say that. Also, Fuse, I was in a group chat with a few other friends the other day. Survive next time, please. Or really, we only need like one false swipe. And, I hereby make my promise. Catch me if I ever just start instinctively doing it, because I know it's a whole issue with, group mentality. That was the word I was trying to parse for. That low HP alarm is blurring in my ears. If I ever accidentally slip into bullying Fuse again, let me know and I will stop, because I was in a group chat with other friends where they were just bullying me relentlessly one by one, and I'm like, oh, now I know how Fuse feels. So I'd like to give you better treatment than that. Granted, this is lifted specifically in the context of 1v1s. If it's like us playing a fighting game where it's just us versus each other, we have the right to shit-talk each other as much as possible. And you have that right to me as well. But I'm not going to do any of the dogpile on Fuse situations. I think we should substitute before we worry about sleep powder. Puts the chin away. I mean, if you like Chen, just do that. Oh hey, it skips the animation when we substitute, too. Yeah, no, for some people it's funny, but if it ends up going on for too long, it is definitely not worth it. Shame that we're running out of sleep powder so quickly. With that shaky accuracy, maybe, having Snorlax on board to use Yawn would be better. See a fuse. Hopefully it's a short enough flight that we do to get to catch you towards the tail end of the stream. Alright, let's hope this works. Yeah, like, Leftovers, Yawn, Snorlax should be pretty good against Zapdos as well. Just for a gag, I do want to see what that one Great Ball ends up doing. If we reload or save, I might just toss that one Great Ball away. It's not like we're gonna get much use out of it. For a good laugh. Not quite. Yeah, how is Street Brawl treating the Storm? Wow. Wow! I guess we kind of have to do this now. I don't know that we really want to snag Thunder Wave. I guess we might have to. And yeah, Thunder Wave's gonna be buried deep within Silph.Co. Maybe we do end up needing a little bit more setup. There's 25 natures, we shouldn't end up having to take too long to get one of the two that work. 2 out of 25, or heck, if we get like a neutral nature, so even 7 out of 25 with a good spread, that works. I just want to have something that isn't a bottom-of-the-barrel Zapdos. I do like that in newer generations they end up doing the guaranteed 3 perfect IVs. On that other ROM hack I've been playing, yeah, that's backported as well, so catching legendaries is a much better venture in that game. It's gonna be especially weird for roamer legendaries though, right? You don't really get to reset for them. Once they're generated, they keep the same IVs for what I know. Wow, without the sleep, this is difficult. Alright, we roll back around and we grab Snorlax this time. Or, you know what? If there was ever a time to actually use them. Survive! Yeah, we get down to a low threshold, but we should be good to go. Have we ever been able to buy ethers? Those look like man-made products. And I don't think that they've ever been in stores. Weird for those which seem like they'd be very, very powerful items to have. Weird that they end up having such sparse distribution. Yeah, it's just pickup being able to grab them, right? You think later games let us do it. Got it, got it, got it. Yeah, leopard berries too. Well, that's not so much of an issue in every game but FireRed, I suppose. Though Generation 5, they didn't have berry mechanics, right? I don't remember them. Which is weird, because I think berries is kind of an iconic part of Pokemon games. Granted, I grew up with Gen 3 and 4. And Gen 4 really feels like it's just, let's bring everything from the first 4 generations together. You had the berries, you had the whole secret base thing carried over from Hoenn. Had the day-night cycle as well. I like Gen 4 conceptually, but we went back and we played Platinum back in 2023, and that game bored me. Which I already know Diamond and Pearl are infamous for being very, very slow with how unoptimized their battle renderer is. There goes Kageyama. Should have gotten a substitute up there. Well, as we end up having to change our strategy a bit, we'll figure out something different for Zapdos. Also, am I out of tea already? Wow. I've been chatting up a storm. The Gen 5 games are my favorite, but thinking about it in retrospect, they didn't really have much in the way of overworld mechanics, did they? Like, great, we don't have to worry about HMs anymore to get through the regular game, but no berries, no secret bases, which is what I remember Gen 3 for very, very fondly. You are right about that, Kahila. Gotta show off our 3D rendering on our mobile hardware. Granted, I think the spectacle worked in their favor. I mean, Gen 5 still ends up being my favorite in the series. I don't really know if my second favorite is like Gen 3 or 7, or even if we end up playing some of the newer Pokemon games, it ends up being one of them. I just know Gen 5 is very easily in first place for me. I feel like we're getting close to struggle territory, so just for a gag, if it is a Zapdos that is Master Ball worthy, then there goes our Master Ball. Yeah, Emerald's, like, everything about the post-game in Emerald, I think, blows basically every other Pokemon game out of the water. I do really like, we never even got to it on our own playthrough. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all that we probably end up having a Oh, Brave Nature. I'm pretty sure we don't keep this one. So, I'm telling y'all, we very, very likely end up doing another, like, a repeat of Pokemon Black 2 or White 2. We might have actually been playing the easier version. So what I heard is... Y'all know how Black 2 and White 2 have the hard mode and easy mode, right? Well, for what I hear, the actual stats of the Pokemon you fight in hard mode are not changed to be any different. Okay, we actually have some pretty high IVs here, but special attack is only 14 and Brave is not a good nature for us to be using, so nope. Like the Gen 3 Battle Frontier, I've never gotten to formally experience. So that's something I absolutely need to go back and do at some point, which we will be getting to. There will be a Pokemon Emerald stream, but easy mode ends up being harder due to the way the XP calculator works. So maybe we do end up just going back and doing White 2 then. Alright, let's go through this with Snorlax having a 100% accurate yawn. Welcome back to the crew, Chonko. White 2 is just called Argentine. Magneton doesn't need to be out there for very long, so we don't worry about the leftovers on you. We worry about the leftovers on Snorlax. Do we need to worry about Substitute on Snorlax? There's not really reason to not be using it. So we'll go ahead and get that tutored on there as well. I don't imagine it takes us more than an hour to get through the Elite Four. I can stay up a little bit extra tonight regardless. Also, I got my schedule for the next upcoming couple of weeks. And things are looking very, very good for the time frames that I'm able to do things for y'all. I need to double check what it's like for next week. But the week after, and of course I mixed up Fuchsia and Vermilion again. I keep seeing Fuchsia on the map and it looks way further south than I remember it being. Just because I always think the route south of this here ends up going for way longer than it actually does. I think I remember in my original FireRed, I used a lot of the tutors where it wasn't actually all that helpful. And funny enough, I taught Substitute to a Kangaskhan. Yeah, we'll get Shadow Ball on there later. So we've got some very, very interesting games releasing soon. Next week looks like the release of Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core, which luckily happens on, I believe, a day off that I have. But most importantly, on Memorial Day week, which is also when we get the release for the new MechWarrior DLC. It looks like there's, basically some back-to-back situations where I get to stay up super late for y'all streaming. So if my scheduling in the future ends up being similar to what it looks like for the next couple of weeks, then it might turn out that I end up being able to do like 5 streams a week for y'all. Chances are, though, we won't be able to have like a 7-day stream week again in the future. For the time being. I don't think they're gonna completely drop me off of doing any closing shifts in a week. It doesn't sound like that's gonna happen. Would also not recommend 7 days a week. Sometimes I'd be happy to do that. I mean, this is the hobby that I love. I do deserve days for myself, absolutely. Yeah, it does look like, unfortunately, we're going to have a situation where I'm going to have to take some days to stream on my days off, essentially. Okay, we shouldn't have to worry too much about Jan's PP here. I wonder if it would be worth it to teach Shockwave to Magneton. Just to not run that 10% paralysis chance. Understood, Kahila, understood. There's just been a few times in the past where we have had seven stream weeks, and those have been really, really fun. I like having that as a possibility. This is the duty of a health and safety inspector. Understood, understood. I do want to be able to invest more time into streaming, which is, well, I mean, with the FireRed stream here, this is where we ended up coming back to YouTube. And given that I should be less exhausted overall, I will be using that extra time to put into streaming stuff. Also, interesting situation, and I will experiment with it where, I'll do some less story-oriented streams, like maybe some roguelike runs or fighting game things on the days where I end up on closing shifts, so I'll have to stream either after I get home or before I go into work. And I'll see what ends up times end up working for y'all. Okay, we are at minimum accuracy. I think we want to just count that when it's happening. Yeah, our best damaging option is... Well, no. We do just want to Ice Beam a Sidewinder. I wonder if that ends up being overall our best... What if we swapped to Sidewinder first? Led with Ice Beam to get the damage out there. On the off chance we do score a critical hit, then we don't worry about that happening after we've already done a whole bunch of setup for it. Enhanced Shrink Ray. That sounds horrible, Storm. Horrible for the enemy team, of course. So, is Victor your main squeeze at this point? What's your favorite current gen comp meme? Is it the one where it's, the Paradox version of Gallade, and it's like, I don't know if it's gonna be running this set, or this set, or this set, or this set, or this set. And then the, Encore joke? That's the one that gets me. Pecha Berry Trick Goldengo. Okay, explain that one to me. Because I know Goldengo's whole... Oh, is it specifically to counter, Toxic Orb mons? Is it, like, specifically to get rid of Yup, Gliscor, yup, yup! Okay, Zapdos is not asleep yet, so this is where we get to safely use Substitute. Pretty funny. I'm also a, one of my other Pokemon that I love to use a lot in competitive battling was, Rotom Heat. Not specifically Rotom Wash, which usually ends up being good as a wall in a lot of situations. But I liked using Choice Scarf Rotom Heat for, you know, overheat spam and Volt Switch, stuff like that. But I also just have Trick. I love Choice Scarf Trick. Because I'm a bit of a scumbag. I've never done... Well, none of my friends really used enough Chansey. But it's always been my dream to just Choice Scarf or trick a Choice Scarf onto a Chansey. I'm guessing it's for tricking Choice Bands? Since I know we don't have Choice Scarf in Gen 3. Choice Band for return, Shadow Ball, Focus Punch, and then just also has Switcheroo. The yawning is contagious. You know, for a laugh. Also trick it onto your mind under Charmeleon. Yeah, Choice Trick I do always get a good laugh at. That's exactly it, Kahila, is I love the whole getting a hard gamble into completely disabling one of your opponent's Pokemon. Get it on the right wall and they're completely removed from the game. Yeah, lower tiers are really interesting. Celio being that high. Yeah, for PU, though, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm glad that people have split apart into more and more tiers for older generations. I know they started doing that with all the extra tiers starting in Gen 5 or so. But I like that people do have more opportunities for being able to use your weaker favorites in formats where they actually have a chance. Because even when we just had OU, UU, NU, I still feel like there were some Pokemon at the very, very, very bottom of the barrel. But metagame's over. Metagames change with time. Don't worry, Storm, it does happen soon. Deadlock will be on that list of possible games that I play late at night after a closing shift. So yeah, this week, just because of how things are set up, one with the tourney as well. We've got a weird situation for how things are going to end up being for streaming. But maybe, and hold me to it, maybe next week I get a chance. Alright, let me take a look at this, Kahila. Oh, of course it's from Stunfisk. I haven't been to Stunfisk in a while. That frowny face on the Gliscor. Hold on, that's iconic. You have my utmost recommendation to post that in the Discord server. Why not? I'll put it on stream once we come back from break. If we catch the Zapdos, or if it... Or, okay, there we go. Or, if it struggles, we end up going to break. What's the damage? Hasty ain't bad. Oh, those look like, Yes, Kahila, even if it's a Reddit link. I don't think Reddit's all that bad, personally. Okay, it looks like we are probably bottom of the barrel for stats here. Oh, this does not look good. Speed looks like it might be perfect, though. So we are looking at 0 HP, 0 special defense, 4 attack. Well, that doesn't matter much. We actually have above 20 in defense, special attack, and speed, but not with a hasty nature. Nope. So. Oh, that's what it is. When I'm hitting Control R while I'm on the screen, it ends up resetting the transform on Skrunk. I got it. Just because that was the element I had last highlighted. Alright. Restarting. What do y'all think? Should we just go ahead and spam Master Ball just to make sure that we get, like, as nearly perfect of a Zapdos as we can? We have kind of set up a whole catching team, which... Y'all let me know if this part of the stream ends up being entertaining or otherwise. We'll hop on break real quick and we'll be right back. And sliding our way back in. Cute that you get to hear a bunch of Pokemon cries in the background. Heard that right before we pop back in. Yeah, I think we want to lead with Sidewinder. Then swap to Magneton. And then we do the rest of our shenanigans from there. You might genuinely have a... Well, we've only caught, like, what, 3 Zapdoses so far? You might genuinely have a point, Mal. We might be best off just using Master Ball to keep resetting for the optimal possible Zapdos we can get. Much higher HP shows quite a bit of promise. And you can also paralyze electric types in this generation. I think it was it Gen 6 or Gen 7 where they made it where electric types were immune to paralysis? Should be Gen 6. X and Y, got it. I like the idea of every type getting some little privilege like that. Fire types can't be burned, ice types can't be frozen. Ghost types can't be trapped, which is mechanically different. What do you mean, Kahila? Terra, Grass, and Cinnamoroar just to avoid being sleep powdered? Terra no... Wait, does that end up giving it even more of a stab boost? I mean, as y'all know, the Porygon line's one of my absolute favorites. Like, if you had to face a Xander trainer, there would be a Porygon 2 or Z, if not both, on his team. And the idea of Porygon Z just over-specializing into one attack is hilarious. Effectively 2 adaptability, so is that times 4 or times 3 in the end? Yeah, I know about the Body Slam not being able to paralyze normal types, but is that what it meant? Really? So, like, you couldn't Thunder Wave electric types? Was that the case? Interesting. Well, that's pretty cool. A lot of interesting design decisions in Gen 1, for sure. For better and for worse. Oh, you can Thunder Wave or wait. What do you mean, then? Because I know about the Body Slam can't paralyze normals. Counter Seismic Toss and Sonic Boom. Okay, that's a lot of goofy mechanics. I think a lot of that is more of oversight than anything else in the case of, like, critical hits or countering on flat damage moves. Oh, so you couldn't get the extra chance to... Okay, I got it, I got it. Thunderbolt can't paralyze an electric type. Look at that, the Reflected is some good. Alright, Chonko, you're up with your far more consistent chance to sleep. So yeah, I guess we yawn into full heal. Because we don't want to miss another chance to yawn in the future. And then Substitute we use while we're waiting for the Yawn turn to kick in, if we don't have to worry about paralysis. Yeah. Guarantee someone would end up falling asleep and wasting their Gigantamax turns if they left them in. The cake Pokemon? Alcrim? I don't even know if I'm on the right page. No, because that's like a cupcake, isn't it? From Gen 8 onward, I'm only gonna remember like half of them. There's a whole bunch of mons I end up looking at in newer dexes where I'm like, oh, that's a surprise. That's a really cool mon design. Not something I'm familiar with. Okay, Alcremie. Preventing sleep. Interesting. I love it when, on paper, very weak mons end up getting a very, very specific niche where they work. I know all the memes about Clefairy being used for purposes other than Clefable because of Friend Guard. It strikes me as so weird that Clefable ended up just becoming a really, really powerful Pokemon despite, for what I remember, not being really all that great in previous generations. Lantern just for Zapdos hate. There's so many really, really cool Pokemon in... Also Gengar for the latter? Like... Camerupt versus Gengar? What do you mean? Is it just for having a resistance to a lot of what Gengar ends up doing? Because I know Gen 3 Gengar, like, uses elemental punches, as weird as that is. Yeah, I feel like Gen 3 is the most unique metagame. I don't know that I'd personally play it that much just because I like the physical special split. And I feel like Gen 4 was where they really started making a lot of mechanics work for a competitive space. Even if that's also the gen that we get Stealth Rock, which I hate. T-Bolt, Will-O-Wisp, Explosion, and... Huh, interesting. Yeah, it's so weird to me that there's an era where Gengar doesn't run Shadow Ball or Sludge Bomb / Sludge Wave. I really do prefer a physical special split, but there's so many interesting and unique mechanics that we have just for Gen 3 that I do want to at least try practicing a little bit. Yeah, Kahila. Plus, a lot of my favorites are still going to be good in Gen 3, like Zapdos, Metagross, really, really great mons in that generation. Yawn, and then Substitute to give us a barrier against the next potential Drill Peck. Good. I do think it's really, really cool that Gen 3 is like the only generation where Focus Punch actually shows up quite a bit. just for the sake of, well, I mean, obviously being a T-tar counter, but switching is important enough in that generation that there are quite a few good mons that end up getting focus punched. Which power creep are you referring to, Kahila? Like, from which gens to which? Yeah, that was a while ago, but yeah, Focus Punch Weasel. Focus Punch in general. Like the move that's all in on trying to get the hard read. Right, we needed an Ether. Which luckily we don't need to worry about an elixir for this one. I know later we sometimes see it on Breloom for, like, Spore Sub-Punch stuff. Which I also think is really cool, but Breloom in a lot of cases feels like kind of a scumbag Pokemon to me. It's the fastest Spore user we've ever had, right? Granted, it gets to do a lot of really, really cool, unique things. Yeah, I like that it does 2 or 3 different things that basically only Breloom gets to do. Like Technician Bullet Seed and such as well. Heck, Technician Breloom in general. Bullet Seed, Mach Punch shenanigans and stuff. Yeah, Poison Heal being clearly the best ability, of course. Alright, this is taking quite a bit to capture Zapdos, so yeah, if this ends up not being the one trademark, let's go ahead and just use Master Ball. I do kind of want to finish the Elite Four here just so that we have a relatively steady pacing with all the episodes so far. I've gotten a request from one friend to put all of these VODs in a playlist. We do have a good capture team for Articuno and Moltres, though. I do want to, at some point, go for grabbing all the other legendaries. FireRed's really cool, and I won't mind going through all the stuff that we got here. Though I do very much look forward to trying out that other ROM hack once, I do want to playtest it a little bit more. But being able to have both a Pokemon Emerald and FireRed stream in the same game, essentially. That's something I look forward to. And we should, for the most part, be able to fill out most of the decks, right? FEPME? Why do I feel like you're leading me towards Fire Emblem? And yeah, I feel like that's something you mentioned on a stream or two ago, right? Because I remember you mentioning something about Fire Emblem lately. Also, I'm being attacked by a cat yet again. So... ah! What else would you be leading me towards? Castlevania. Castlevania is where you'd also be leading me. Oh, for a bit of insight onto what my current view on my screen is. Looking like this. I have a cat very much in my way. It's gonna be weird trying to fit in, like, multiple episodic streams. I do think it's a net benefit that we'll be able to do just... well, like, we'll be kind of obligated into fitting in more random fighting games or roguelike stuff at very different times of the day. But for any of the stuff like FireRed here or Silksong, anything that we're really, really wanting to follow a story, I do prefer keeping that at the reasonably in the evening sections. Which I still should be able to do like 3 of those a week at minimum. Alright, after this one, let's just go ahead and start chucking Master Balls. And if we get, like, one timid or modest Zapdos that isn't at the very, very bottom of IVs, we'll keep them. And that's why I mentioned the idea of wanting to do, like, 7 stream weeks or such, Kahila. I don't even remember what PME stood for, so elucidate me on that before you proceed. Pick my edits. Alright. Because you get to change how your units promote their classes and stuff, right? Oh, no, I meant to use Ether. Oh, okay. So it's a ROM hack sort of situation, it sounds like. Well, that sounds cool. That does sound delightful. I have had ideas of doing that for, generally, you also use the FE Builder built-in skill system to... Okay, okay. I know Storm would absolutely be on that. I remember Storm being a Fire Emblem fan. So that is a general thought I've had a lot lately. Where... oh yeah, we're gonna need that Ether again. I've thought about the stream-wide gimmick being that, since I should have a bit more time to focus on stream stuff with, I'd like to do community-involved things where I mod the games that we end up playing through. That ends up being the twist that we give. Adding stand-in units or mons or whatever, based off of friends in our community. You know, not too far off from what we're doing with, yeah, Tomodachi Life or whatever, but... also for Fire Emblem like you're suggesting, or even for a Pokemon game. Well, yeah, Kahila, you'll have to teach me how that ends up going. And I'd love to do that for our group of friends. There we go. You better be a winner, Zapdos. If it's adamant, we are resetting. Quirky isn't the worst we could get. So we're looking at, oh, probably a really good HP stat. 159, almost care about attack, but I will fill it out for the sake of completeness. And what are we looking at? We are looking at very poor IVs across the board except for attack, which we do not care about. So. Oh, reset transform button hit again. I gotta remember to be tabbed into Pokemon when I'm doing that. Let's say Gale Force is 10 points, right? Yeah. So everyone has a certain number of points to distribute to their own units, right? Oh wow, that messed with the tracking like that. Yeah, for the mainstay of our team, I see no harm in doing this. The other ROM hack I know, I think we could have a lot more fun just having a big slow burn of a game. And since that one would have guaranteed 3 perfect IVs, I think we could have fun just doing that. Sassy nature, just like my very first Zapdos. I'm never gonna forget that. I can already tell we are looking at a pretty poor distribution. Okay, that's gonna be way, way quicker. Yeah, let's save the long capture sessions for post-game. I am, of course, having fun with FireRed. But I'm so excited to just be able to go straight from the first episode to beating the Elite Four on the 10th. And Zapdos is kind of the mon for us to have on the team. But yeah, sounds like a good time, Kahila. Yeah, you make them level up slower overall and have weaker overall growths. So that you can have, better skills or whatever here and there. Modest, alright. Liking the sound of this. 162, 85, 90, 145, 108, 119, with a modest nature. We are looking at some absolutely awful IV spreads. Okay, we have HP 24, attack 0, defense 0, special attack 4, special defense 26, speed 28. So 3 really, really good stats and 3 really horrible stats. But hey, that was a modest. I also think that other ROM hack would have the synchronized gimmick from newer generations. So that should make it a lot easier to end up getting a better Zapdos Legendary for that run. That actually sounds a lot like the balancing philosophy, Kahila, of Toho Puppet Dance Performance, which I am going to bring up again and again, obviously. We are looking at probably something bad here. We don't want a naughty nature anyway. Where a lot of the weaker Tohos tend to have really, really good moves or abilities, but weaker stat totals. And then the stronger ones will have good stats, but then weaker abilities and not access to a lot of the really, really cool moves. Toho fans talking about Toho... I know, but it's been on my mind lately. With the Pokemon itch coming back around, it's been what I've been thinking about. This one might actually have some really good stats. Let's check. 165 might be capped out. Fairly average stats across the board. I will give a couple more rolls. This really was difficult in earlier generations. Wow. I don't think it's overall going to matter too much with Zapdos. Maybe it won't. So, y'all know about that whole gimmick in Ruby, Sapphire, Fire Red, and Leaf Green where the Roamer legendaries are guaranteed to have absolutely horrible IVs? I never really ended up knowing too much about that because the Latios I found, the Latios that I captured immediately upon finding it in Ruby, ended up having a modest nature, which was really, really cool. So it still kicked a lot of butt. We've got a neutral nature here, Hardy. Not that it matters which one you pick, as long as it is neutral. Hold on. For the sake of being timely, what do y'all think about this? This looks like a pretty good distribution to me. Got 3 of them above 20, 2 of them in the middle range, on a neutral nature. I think for the sake of knowing how long it's going to take for us to get through the Elite Four, this looks like a keeper. Also, here's the comic in question from earlier. Just give the Patchet Berry over to Gliscor. That's funny. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Alright. We will keep this Zapdos. And I think in the future, when we end up trying whatever we end up coming back to with something for like a twist on FireRed or whatever in the future, when we're traversing unfamiliar territory and are looking to just vibe a lot more, we'll focus more on capturing a cream of the crop Zapdos. This one, however, will work for us. Actually, what do we call you? You need a nickname. And welcome, Levy. Delighted to see you. Would anyone happen to have a good suggestion for a Zapdos here? We'll try going through with Blocky. Marissa can be a pretty good reserve Pokemon for us to use. Level 43. Yeah, still frighteningly powerful. We'll give leftovers to the... Actually, yeah, we'll give a leftovers to Blocky. Since Blocky ends up being really, really good defensively. Why do they give us the use option if you can't use it? Ah. Now, does Sidewinder need anything? Do we have, like, a dragon thing or something to give ya? Looks like no. Amulet coin. That'll be really, really good for Sidewinder. Alright, so if we have... Hear me out. If we have a Dragonite named Sidewinder... Why don't we have a Zapdos named... Ride the Lightning. Just so we can double down on the Guilty Gear jokes. Alright, our whole squad is nicknamed. Let's give Zapdos a few much-needed TMs. And we'll be off to face the Elite Four. Ooh, wait, hold on. I feel like we have a team that could benefit from... Yeah, I think we could make use of a Rain Dance team. Drill Peck's also pretty good on its own. Like, we could probably even sweep through, maybe even Lance with, like, Rain Dance Thunder shenanigans. Oh, howdy, Anthony. Trade Pokemon on the Wireless Club Union Room for the first floor. That's, is that gonna be different on the Switch ports? So, what are you asking of me, specifically? And welcome, Anthony. Maybe Steel Wing? I don't think we need Detect that much. Yeah, it's just a worse version of Protect. And no doubt we'll, do we even have... Well, we have an Ice-type user in the Elite Four. So we can abuse Steel Wing versus that. But yeah, the Union Room was usually used for trading stuff, right? I don't know if the Switch ports do anything different with that. Alright, make sure everyone is healed up and we are ready to go. I do believe we have plenty of items. We've got plenty of full heals. We don't need that many full restores, but we could definitely afford some more hyper potions. We've only got full restores and max potions here. Oh, wow, those are expensive. So let's take the leftovers from you. I feel like Ride the Lightning's gonna be involved in quite a few more battles. We'll give the leftovers to Sidewinder. And you can hold the amulet coin. Now, I do want to give everyone a chance to shine. Who is our best? Well, we don't necessarily have an Ice-type counter, other than relying on Zapdos to just Steel Wing through everything here. Oh, right, and we definitely need the right moves back on Executor. Well, if we lose our challenge here, then we just go right back in. Yeah, I never got how those were supposed to work. Like, it shows you just sticking the disc on their forehead in this game. And here we go. Zapdos probably still functions as our best ice type counter. Welcome to the Pokemon League. I am Lorelei of the Elite Four. No one can best me when it comes to icy Pokemon. Freezing moves are powerful. Your Pokemon will be at my mercy when they are frozen solid. Ha ha ha! Are you ready to lose to a 10% chance? You can't read a disc slapped on your forehead? No, actually, I learned from discs by taking a good big bite out of them. Just give them a crunch. Oh, how dare you! Let me fix that for you. You missed things. Why is Zapdos named Ride the Lightning? Because Storm a while ago suggested a name for Dragonite to be Sidewinder, which is very specifically supposed to be a reference to Sold Bad Guy. So, for our electric type, I'm giving a reference to one of Kai Kisuke's moves, so also a Guilty Gear reference. And if we're gonna be spamming Thunder, well, it's all right, Levy. It's an inside joke kind of thing. That would be if there was a Guilty Gear fan who walked in here, they'd be able to figure out what RTL meant. Almost the KO on Lapras. So we know that full restore is coming out. Or maybe not. Ah, we were so close to that KO. This might be where Scyther gets a chance. I feel like full restore is happening, so yeah. We'll take this turn and set up. We probably don't get a one-hit KO off of this. I just want to see if we get a good amount of damage. Oh, wow. That is a tanky Lapras. Blocky probably wins the tanking attrition here. Yeah, and we get to block water, so... We gonna survive it? I think we should be able to. Ah, phooey. Yeah, without Zapdos, I think we just counter Lapras with our own water type. Or maybe we send in the emergency Sidewinder in a moment. Well, that's possible to win with that. I didn't imagine Lapras would actually be this good. I know Lapras is really good in Gen 1. I don't know about Gen 3. Alright, Lapras down. Just as long as we were able to resist all the Surf and Ice Beam shenanigans. Here we want to use special attacks, which we still have. Not sure that that matters this late into the game, Cloyster, but you do you. So due to the levels that we have to get through, this might prove to actually be quite a bit of a challenge. Funny enough, Zapdos would have swept this entire team if Zapdos was just 1 or 2 levels higher. Or if we did use a modest Zapdos, I think that would have worked well too. So we continue. If the hail's not going, why are you protecting so much? Maybe we just need to distribute leftovers to whoever ends up resisting the majority of their team. Funny how Blastoise just sweeps through all here. But hey, Nitori is doing good. Oh, here's where Bite gets to come in. Yeah, let me see. Oh, not even a one-hit KO. Well, yeah, it goes off of special attack and special defense in this game. Also, wait, Surf should do a lot of damage here. Maybe even more? It's funny, any Pokemon that gets to learn the stab version of the Elemental Punches also probably just gets to learn Thunderbolt or Flamethrower or Ice Beam. Come on, you got this. No! I feel like Bite, well, yeah, Bite will still do the most. Just from hitting that super effective hit. So close. Let's try for lucky sleep powder. We might die here. We probably die here. We definitely die here. Alright. It's up to Sidewinder hitting first, which is probably not happening. Fly would have probably KO'd. Live! You're not living. Wow, that's a lot of money lost. I think that's our first official blackout in this stream, right? But I mean, if it was going to happen anywhere, it was going to happen to the Elite Four. So, really just the issue is everyone being under-leveled, that's all. You know, I almost just want to see how well Marissa does. Because Marissa beats Ice types pretty reliably. I think overall, Blocky might have kind of the lowest stats among anyone, right? I think Blocky's doing alright, actually, just looking at everyone that we have. Just so that we have a good advantage against the Ice-type one here, though. Yeah, let's bring in Marissa. Shame we don't have a Flame Orb to abuse. Alright, this is gonna be what we grind out for the rest of the stream. I feel like we might still lose this one, but if we get a good sweep going on, we should be alright. Also, I didn't think about that. What about Rain Dance instead of Strength for Nitori? Pretty good damage. As long as we have basically one Pokemon per Elite Four member that can really just sweep the whole team, we should be alright. Yuri Cutter. This is going to be the super weak version though, right? Yeah, 10 base power, no. It's actually really good in newer generations when it starts at 40. Also, you're not an Ice type. I wonder if that means you're coming out with a Psychic? No, Surf. Alright. Right, Safeguard! I completely forgot. So, Kageyama gets KO'd here. Yeah. I'm a goofy goober for that one. Ooh, that's actually kind of scary. Slowbro already has great defense, so that does make that a bit difficult to work with. Because if we can't beat Slowbro from the specially defensive or physically defensive side, we're in trouble. Well, yeah, it doesn't raise their special attack, but the idea is we'd like to be able to sweep through as many of them as possible. And welcome back, Kahila. Yeah, no, if our own Zapdos was level 54, we'd get a one-hit KO here. But just barely not the case with Lapras. Oh, the paralysis helps. Unfortunately, we still just gotta hit that thunder button. Wait, yeah. We'll be fine. I wonder how good Hurricane Thunder Zapdos is in, like, newer generation doubles. Deals plenty. People always complained about the level gap between your Mons and enemy Mons. Yeah, this is one of the reasons I don't want to do one of those hardcore Nuzlocke kind of situations. I do want to make sure we get that one turn damage here since... Yeah, we should be able to get a KO off a fly here. Also, Sidewinder should probably know Flamethrower, and then Sidewinder probably clears most of this gem. I think it's also cool that Dragonite's really good in rain as well. You have TMs and you have DV, IV, EV badge boosts actual strategy. Yeah. I mean, this is just a situation that I think we can hit our head against the wall enough times anyway, and still have it work. Yeah, with Surf on there, I think we can just swap over to Flamethrower instead of Ice Beam and be just fine. I feel like you're about to hit me with the full restore, so let's just do a Surf to buffer a little bit of damage first. I wonder if Scyther even gets a chance to shine in the Elite Four here. As a Scizor, yeah. Scizor would have completely swept this part of the battle. It astonishes me how much Gen 4 gave Scizor a glow up. Everything just ended up firing on all cylinders for that Mon. Things shouldn't be this way. So a bit more money than we spent the first time. You're better than I thought. Go on ahead. You only got a taste of the Pokemon League's power. And with that taste, I have reached the bottom of my tea glass, so... let's get ourselves the next break coming up. Aw, Zapdos isn't really too happy to see us yet. I think we're gonna burn through healing items super fast, so... we might just have to brute force like the first couple of battles, just to get a few good levels. You do wish Pokemon, at least in Gen 3 onwards, could have the, oh, this trainer doesn't let you use items, this trainer only lets you bring 3 Pokemon. Yeah, gimmicks are really cool, and that's one of the reasons why the Battle Frontier was just so great. Who's holding the lucky egg? You are, but you didn't even participate in that battle. Yeah, you're the lowest level one that we got, and I think Scyther had... yeah. So let's give that to you. You're our designated get rid of any slow mon that comes up. Actually, wait, yeah, no, I think you just get to shine here anyway, Kageyama. No, no. EXP share on you. You do have a point. Kageyama needs levels more, so let's give you the lucky egg. I really want to use Porygon, and I think we might end up switching back to Porygon soon. I just want to see who we end up having that can end up beating the Ice-type stuff first. Yeah, and then we have, what, Ghost after this, and Dragon? Are the Kanto Elite Four basically the same as... Wait, yeah, they're basically the same as the Hoenn Elite Four. Yeah, you swap out, what, Dark fighting for Dark, and then you have the same types just rearranged differently? Huh. I suppose they did try to make Hoenn kind of a Kanto too with the whole soft reboot thing going on. A lot of these same types you find in the same areas too, like your first gym is rock and then your third gym is electric. I always thought that was interesting. Anywho, break time. We'll be right back in just a moment. we are back in. Hello everyone again. Through rigorous training, people in Pokemon can become stronger without limit. I've lived and trained with my fighting Pokemon, and that will never change. Xander. Even though he somehow already knows my name. We will grind you down with our superior power. Hoo-ha! Thank you for the welcome back, Ahila. Well, I mean, he probably already heard there was some little 10-year-old kid challenging the Elite Four, so... I'm not even gonna worry about Sleep Powder, I'm just gonna hit the Giga Drain button. I forgot... Wasn't Iron Tail a TM in the next gen? Or was it... Because I remember almost always having Iron Tail on Raichu. Yeah, isn't it a TM we just haven't found yet? Aww. It's foreshadowing for the twist. Oh, true, you do have a point there. Howdy, Reese. How are you doing? Here's your hug. I will take that stretch, and we did just come back from break, so... Yeah, I can take all those hydrates for you. Right. Reason I'm starting with the Leech Seed setup is I know Hitmonchan has really... Like, Hitmonchan's only good stat is Special Defense, so... Yeah, I had a feeling that wouldn't KO. You have a good night too, Reese. I hope to chat with you soon. I have plenty of good news to deliver to you. Yeah, let's Sleep Powder again because that full restore comes out and then we just get the sleep on him. So here's the idea. Let's see if we can set up just like 2 Swords Dances. Then we can probably sweep everything else here with, Wing Attack. I'm already 75% through my tea glass, Reese. I have redeemed almost all of those hydrates, but now I have to go for the next 40 minutes off of just this very minuscule amount of tea. But I won't forget, Reese. And I'm glad to see you again. I hope we get to converse soon. And once again, I'm being attacked by a cat. Come here. Come here. Come here. Ah. Alright, the cat returns. He never really left. Actually, what could Hitmonchan do to us? That's what Hitmonchan could do. But we survived because Hitmonchan's horrible. Are we slower now, actually? Ah! Well, we flew too close to the sun. Our whole team kind of clobbers him, though. Alright, next time we come through here, we're only going to worry about boosting twice. Scrunko, you need to move further away from the keyboard, sweetie. I can't have you reaching over and pressing random keys. So I've completely forgotten most of the teams that these guys have, which will... Okay, yeah, it's Limber that Hitmonlee gets. That spells trouble. We'll still go for the Sleep Powder again, because, well, I was hoping to risk it with the Mega Kick there, but... Alright. Yeah, our whole team pretty much beats Bruno. We don't have anyone weak to fighting types, do we? And this is before Stone Edge is a thing, so Machamp doesn't have too much to beat us. Okay, yeah, I think we can, if we end up failing this run, which I know we will, let's swap out Machamp for Blocky, because I think we could do a lot better for having someone to counter both Lance and Lorelei. And heck, maybe even a decent chance against Agatha, right? Because one thing I didn't think about, we could try Toxic Stalling with Blocky. As much as I love Marissa, and the fact that we got an Adamant Machamp of all things. I see us using Blocky a lot in the post-game, and I hold that Mon very, very close to my heart. So we'll just swap here. I'm not 12 anymore? What do you mean specifically by that? Everyone doing well? Why? How could I lose? My job is done. Go face your next challenge, he says as he looks away. That you have a functioning brain cell to make decisions versus the AI. I mean, yeah, you have a point. When I was a little kid, of course, I did the thing that most other children did, where I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna overtrain my Pokemon and have them just get a whole bunch of stab moves and not have to worry too much about coverage, because I'll just swap into someone else if I need a type advantage. I don't think you get to do too much in this next battle, Kageyama, so I'll take that from you. I think Nitori using Bite might actually help us the most here. Not really anything you get to abuse here. That's why Lance using Dragon is so cool. I am Agatha of the Elite Four. I hear Oak's taken a lot of interest in you, child. That old duff was once tough and handsome, but that was decades ago. He's a shadow of his former self. Now he just wants to fiddle with his Pokédex. He's wrong. Pokemon are for battling. Xander, I'll show you how a real trainer battles. Yeah, resisting the three main starter types, which is, in my opinion, kind of completely arbitrary for Dragon of all things, but... If Kageyama's faster, we'd have a chance against all the Gengars that we have here, but we kind of need Nitori to do something. Yeah, I feel like this is where Blocky ends up getting a good spot, too. Dragons are very attuned with nature. Yeah, but we still have some pretty, in my opinion, arbitrary picks on some type matchups. Like, why is Rock good against flying? And don't give me the 2 birds with 1 stone kind of joke. Is it just the idea of having projectiles taking down a bird? I think we just swapped someone else while this is going on. Just throwing rocks with a sling against birds? I guess. I do like how it works in the type balance, though. But it does feel a bit more... it does feel arbitrary, in my opinion. Oh yeah, Shadow Punch was in this generation. Right, double team. That's what we gotta worry about. How unfair is that, though? Everyone getting to use healing items and then spamming double team. Right, you have a point. It completely skips accuracy checks, doesn't it? I thought it just became 100% accurate, but I guess it just completely skips that. Does it even KO, though? Because Zapdos hasn't really had EV training. Which is one of the biggest weaknesses of us trying to bring Zapdos in so late into the game. Yeah, incredibly malicious strategy. I wonder if Swords Dance, Scyther would work too. Just Aerial Ace through here. Gengar isn't that bulky either, but this is just, as you said, malicious. And that's a KO anyway. Yep. We live? It doesn't matter. Ah, it's just gambling. But we are 10 levels underneath. Like, yeah, this is a really, really big level difference. This is also where Marissa just completely falls off. As long as we can get Golbat slower than some of our other Pokemon, that should work. Yeah, I think it was just a bad first roll against, all the evasiveness boosts. If we yeah, there's double team all over Gen 1. If we train up Bugsy to be pretty high level and just have good speed and attack, I think we get to sweep through a lot of these teams. I'm also surprised that Marissa won that specific matchup. Though you don't really get anything to do with the rest. Yeah. Like, you get to Rock Tomb again here if you survive. What is probably going to be, what? Psychic? Yeah, or Hypnosis. I wonder if Rest Talk Machamp is a thing. Getting to abuse guts. Dream Eater's a cool concept for an attack, but it's a shame that we don't really see any spot for it in competitive. You can't be hypnotized. Even if you're on a timer. There's probably just enough bite in Nitori to get, yeah, a good chunk of health down. That won't make a difference. We don't have sleep claws in this fight, though, Kahila. I guess that might have been specifically what I would have been thinking about. This is supposed to be the ghost-type gym leader, right? I hardly see any ghosts. That won't make a difference. And then it's a second Gengar, isn't it? Yeah. The stronger Gengar, with probably actually higher speed than us. I guess the Screech did matter. Alright, I think Sidewinder still does beat this. Just need a good fly. Since that should end up doing way more damage than Dragon Claw. Going off the much higher attack. Yeah, we got the KO. I don't know if we're getting enough, Wait, here's the idea. You win! I see what the old Duff sees in you now. I have nothing else to say. Run along now, child. Wait, here's the idea. We spend all of our money on healing items, so that when we come back around, we don't have any money to give up when we lose. Because we're going to need a lot of healing items. I wish these were cheaper to use between battles. Like, I try not to use items in the middle of trainer battles. But it's super expensive getting to revive everyone. And at this rate, we definitely don't win against the champion. Alright, Lance time. Which I think we actually fare pretty well against. Sidewinder. I think we send out Sidewinder first. Sidewinder's just gonna have a good matchup against everything. There's also a Gyarados in there, right? But I think it's a Dragonite first. So we want to use Sidewinder to outspeed... Oh right, they gotta make it dramatic. We use Sidewinder to outspeed any of the potentially slower Dragonites up front. And then Nitori for the quad effectiveness of the Dragonites in the back. Because if Sidewinder doesn't outspeed, then Sidewinder loses. Ah, I've heard about you, Xander. I lead the Elite Four. You can call me Lance, the Dragon Trainer. You know that dragons are mythical Pokemon. They're hard to catch and raise, but their powers are superior. They're virtually indestructible. There's no being clever with them. Well, are you ready to lose? Your league challenge ends with me, Xander. Oh, Gyarados lead. Alright. That won't matter, because Dragon Claw runs off a special attack. Are you sure that helps you, buddy? Ooh, do we stall with Fly for... yeah. For leftovers recovery. That would have been my strategy as a choice as a kid, if I knew where to find those, leftovers earlier. Because I remember through a lot of my Elite Four run, I just used a lot of Fly with Zapdos for anything that Thunder wouldn't KO. It's a shame Dragon Dance is an egg move for Dragonite in this game. Otherwise, we could have had a chance to just sweep up everything up down here. Level 55 Citrus Berry and Dragon Rage and all that are still pretty solid. What's different about Gen 3 Citrus Berry versus the future gens? So, Dragonair, Gyarados. Oh, 2 Dragonairs. I thought Lance was supposed to have like 3 Dragonites. 30 HP versus 20. Okay, that's interesting. Gotcha, gotcha. Alright, here's where we end up having the issue to get through. Though, I think we still beat this. We've got the quad effective ice beams to work off of, and wow, Sidewinder still outspeeds. If you survive my Dragon Claw, I probably survived that outrageous spirit. Yep. So yeah, Sidewinder clears this whole... Oh, wait. Do we still net a KO here? Ah! One more level up would have done it. Well, alright. Free S-Beam for us, anyway. And full restore even cures confusion. I wonder if this means that walls are effectively better to use in trainer battles, since you could use an item to just restore them to full health. Something that takes way too long to get through. Or maybe like a tanky setup sweeper, something like a Dragon Dance Tyranitar. Okay, next we need a lot of level ups on Kageyama. Aerodactyl, I forgot about you. So, Lance actually seems like he's the easiest of the Elite Four to get through. Because they're passive by nature, you do have a point. Alright, I'm ready to lose to Gary. I hate to admit it, but you are a Pokemon master. I still can't believe my dragons lost to you, Xander. You are now the Pokemon League champion. Or, you would have been, but you have one more challenge left. There is one more trainer to face. His name is... Rival! Our unnamed rival. Tanks that aren't passive have a type that sucks ass like Aggron. Yeah. It's a shame that Rock and Steel is such a cool combination, but ends up being horrible in practice. He beat the Elite Four before you. He is the real Pokemon League champion. Yeah, and we are out of healing items, so... After we lose, we're gonna have to fly to a different place and stock up on Hyper Potions, I guess. Funny how much Sidewinder carries this team. Okay, Bugsy's actually doing pretty well, so... Take that from you. I think Marissa just... maybe gets to trade 1-for-1 with a certain specific enemy, and... everyone else on the team gets to stay. We don't really have anything that... I mean, Silk Scarf maybe? We don't even have Slash on Scyther. Scyther's here just to use Wing Attack over and over again. And even then, Slash wouldn't be as good as Wing Attack. So I assume... Pidgeot comes out first. Let's try to come out swinging as hard as we can from the beginning. Hey, Xander! I was looking forward to seeing you, Xander. My rival should be strong to keep me sharp. While working on my Pokédex, I looked all over for Pokemon. Not only that, I assembled teams that would beat any Pokemon type. And now, I'm the Pokemon League champion. Xander, do you know what that means? I'll tell you. I am the most powerful trainer in the world! I do feel like this is one of the best champion teams, though. Starting off strong with the level 59 Pidgeot. Hot take, I actually don't really care for Cynthia's theme that much. I know that's one a lot of people like to bring up in terms of powerful champion teams. I think we want to abuse this Rain Dance for all it's worth, so... I mean, if we wanted to talk about winning type matchups, then, Venusaur comes out next, right? Oh, Rhydon. Okay, yeah, Iris's is absolutely the best. You got me there. So we still get to abuse... Yeah, we still get to abuse Surf under these conditions. Rhydon's sprite is scary in this game. Also, Shrazerix, thank you so much for the follow. Well, I guess I have been appropriately pinned as being of a certain age. You wouldn't be entirely wrong in that assumption. But howdy, Shrey. We are having a very wonderful time getting through the Elite Four here for the first time. Now, here's what I'm worried about. Are we still slower? Probably. I don't know if Nitori wins any other matchup that we have coming up, though. I'll just go for a Lucky Ice Beam. Oh, okay, Solar Beam, sure. That gives us a pretty good switch, then. No, this is not a Nuzlocke. Yeah, Venusaur has like 80 speed, doesn't it? Something like that. I might end up doing Nuzlockes in the future, but that's not really in the cards for right now or relatively soon. 83 ain't bad. Let's see, 115 speed. So actually, Blastoise is faster than Scyther here. Okay, let's be cheeky. Switch into that resisted Solar Beam. I'll be mildly upset if we legitimately beat this the first time. Just because I'd like for Blocky to be on our team that beats the Elite Four. But Marissa is very, very strong in our hearts, too. Beat the Elite Four and the champion with less healing items and 9 revives. Heck yeah! We, funny enough, had the biggest issue with the first member of the Elite Four. We don't have much in the way of Ice Resist. Ah, close. Let's see, I think we have a full restore coming out, so... Ice Beam. Also, can we talk about how cool it is that Mega Venusaur gets thick fat? That thing becomes so incredibly bulky. Lorelei is the gatekeeper for a reason, a very solid reason. Yeah, I feel like if we ever do another FireRed run, which that does end up being a valid point, I wouldn't mind doing a Nuzlocke in the future. I gotta assemble all of my all-time favorites from Kanto in that case. Which, yeah, I guess we still end up using Scyther and Porygon. And Zapdos, of course. But we'd have to use, like, Venusaur, Arcanine, and then... I'll figure out what water type I'd end up using otherwise. That we can work with. Actually, even better, we can just fly through that. Fly is remarkably good in the setting where your opponents just never switch their own Pokemon. So we'll keep flying to maximize the amount of time we get with Leftovers Recovery. Who knows, Gyarados might even attack himself and then we get a KO with Fly. Starmie is a perfect suggestion. I would have otherwise gone with, like, if we're talking about vibes that I just like, it probably would have been Kabutops. That was my water type the first time I went through this game. But Starmie is absolutely an excellent choice. Oh, I can't remember what the situation is with Fly Knight specifically. Which generation is that a set? Is that like a Gen 3 Toxic Stall situation? I also think it's funny that Sidewinder could have swept through a lot of these with just like Flamethrower and Thunderbolt shenanigans. Weird, I feel like every single one of these battles has gotten easier than the last. Well, no, I feel like Agatha was the biggest issue. Dragon Dance, Substitute, Fly, and something else. Okay, Fly Knight just for having a good... Well, if it's for a leftover set, yeah, I can see that. Does Fly prevent your substitute from being hit, too? That would be interesting. Are you too afraid to thrash again, my guy? Yeah, we'll keep abusing that Leftovers Recovery. And we still have Zapdos in the back. Have we even lost a single Mon so far? I think just because of some flubs like using Solar Beam and such. Oh, wow. Yeah. How is this the cleanest sweep that we've had so far? We are gonna run out of flies real soon, but as long as we just get Zapdos out, Gyarados out of the way. But yeah, I think that would have to be the team. The Zapdos, Starmie, Venusaur, Arcanine, Porygon, Scyther. To eventually be Porygon 2 and Scizor afterwards. Ideally, we get the Scizor and Flashfire Arcanine combo. Yeah, at this point, we're just stalling for Leftovers recovery, which I think is the reason we even win through the Elite Four here. That's done so much work for healing. We're out of flies. Let's do an Ice Beam for good measure. We didn't need to use Surf this entire time, so... Yeah, replacing Surf with Flamethrower would have been the call. And Dragonite basically carried this entire fight. Here's where we have trouble. Alakazam's gonna be super fast, so if you don't do something stupid like start off with Meditate... Yeah, here we go. Do we get Synchronize left here? Actually, let's Leech Seed first. Yeah, and then we get a little bit of healing off that, too. If Kageyama can tank a Synchronized Sleep, then sure, I'll take it. Otherwise, Inner Focus, I guess, right? Easy. What's the last Mon? Don't tell me. Don't tell me, because I'm still trying to figure out what it is. I know for the rematch, he has Tyranitar, which ended up being the bane of my existence. Alright, Zapdos. Your time to bring it on home, buddy. Oh yeah, isn't it Arcanine? Because he had a Growlithe last time we fought him, right? And I know he tries to have like a fire, water, and grass, depending on what you end up having as your starter. So yeah, that's my guess is Arcanine. Because I thought he had a Growlithe last time we fought him. So, Rain Dance for weakened fire-type attacks. Heck yeah, Kageyama. There we go, y'all. Let's bring it on home. I did not expect us to get through that the first time. But it seems like all the timing has come down to something ultimately perfect. Wow. Explain that one to me, Kahila. Why do you think Rapidash would have fit better? bookends? I guess if we're talking about bookends here, check this out. KOing his last Pokemon with the starter that we picked. So look at that, buddy. Whose name we don't even remember. Turns out all your super high level mons don't mean anything. No, that can't be! You beat me at my best! After all that work to become the league champ? My reign is over already? It's not fair! It should have been me, not him! Start with Brock being a rap jackass and end with Gary being a fire spin jackass. Why? Why did I lose? I never made any mistakes raising my Pokemon. Darn it, you're the new Pokemon League champion. Although I don't like to admit it. Xander. So you've won. Sincerely, congratulations. You're the new Pokemon League champion. You've grown up so much since you first left with Squirtle to work on the Pokédex. Xander, you have come of age. Rival. Grandson whose name I can't remember. I'm disappointed in you. I came when I heard you'd beaten the Elite Four. But when I got here, you had already lost. Rival. Grandson. What was your name again? Do you understand why you lost? You've forgotten how to treat your Pokemon with love and trust. Also, why did you use Solar Beam against Blastoise? Without them, you will never become a champ again. That's literally what it all chalks up to, is just Solar Beam charging versus Blastoise, and so that gave me the free switch. Xander, you understand that your victory was not just your own doing. The bond you share with your Pokemon is marvelous. Xander, come with me. I guess having 3 or even 4 Mons weak to Ice type would be the reason why Lorelei ended up being such a problem. Congratulations, Xander. This floor is the Pokemon Hall of Fame. Pokemon League champions are honored for their exploits here. Their Pokemon are also recorded in the Hall of Fame. Xander, you have worked hard to become the new League champion. Congratulations, Xander. You and your Pokemon are Hall of Famers. And there we have it, y'all. Right at our 3-hour mark just as well. And what a great team it was. Blocky comes back around the second time. Thank you, Marissa, for your service. Very good video game, very good stream, very good team. A very good audience. Y'all have all been so wonderful and magnificent. And if it were not for the fact that I have work at 5 a.m. tomorrow, I can still stay up for like a credit sequence at least. But yeah, we will not be hopping on any post-game stuff. The instant I have the autonomy to hit the save button, that's what I will be doing. We absolutely can. That would be a wonderful way to bring everything together. So yeah, I unfortunately do have to go to bed real soon here. Tomorrow's going to be a Silk Song stream. We have nothing scheduled for Saturday. And since it looks like everything's coming together quite swimmingly, we should still have room for a wondrous Tomodachi stream on Sunday night. And then on Monday, I begin my new job position, which should have much more comfortable hours to stream for y'all. I gotta see what ends up being a good set of streams for this next coming week. They're gonna be scattered around a little bit, so we might have to do something like more FireRed on Wednesday, and then... Yeah, I think it should be... Okay, weird selection. Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday should be our episodic streams that we can do next week. But basically, any day I can do a late night stream. So, Kahila, I know you're nocturnal. I should be able to see you. I might pop in for, Deadlock or Street Fighter or Guilty Gear or something late at night. I'll try doing that on at least one day this coming week, just to see what ends up happening. And maybe this coming week as well, or the week after. I'll see about trying to do something early in the afternoon before I have to leave to head off to work. Since, yeah, I think it's... They have to train me for closing shifts. So it's going to be mostly closing this upcoming week. Which does overlap with what would be normally the stream time right now. Like, I would still be at work for those shifts right now. Even for another hour. So, on my closing shift days, we should be able to start a stream roughly 2 hours from this moment. So if any of y'all that are in the chat that tend to stay up pretty late, then I can pop in for like, hour or two of doing fighting game things. I can keep it to smaller streams here and there, and then on certain other days, I should be able to do much longer streams. With how the scheduling should work out, I should have room to do a lot more tiny streams spread out here and there. And then most of the time when I am set up to do an episodic stream like this here, I'd still be able to go for like an hour or two more than usual. And what a beautiful stream to close out on. We still have more to do for all of the post-game. We will be doing everything up to the Sapphire post-game stuff, and then maybe top it off with a... go through the Elite Four again. I like FireRed, but I think if we want to do a big completionist run of FireRed stuff, I'll look for a different ROM hack that tries to be more than just the FireRed here, but definitively. Oh, cute that they bring back around the Pikachu. Give my boy Raichu some love. I'm glad that he has Mega Evolutions now, but I really think they should have dropped the ball on Pikachu like 10 years ago. Raichu deserves love too. Kind of funny that we started the stream right when I was getting a lot of motivation to come back to YouTube. Yeah, like this is our transitionary stream for much greener pastures ahead. We start it right as I'm deciding to come back to YouTube, and our end of our first any percent clear here is right when I'm moving on to my new position at my job, which I did not have a guarantee that I'd be getting by this time around. Ah, Xander, you're back, are you? How much have you filled in your Pokédex? May I see it? Let's see. You've caught 85! Now this is impressive. There's something I wanted to ask of you, Xander. Come, follow me. That is more than half the dex, so... What's that, a good 60%? Oh, you know, little Charmander's still sitting there. Recently, there have been sightings of many rare Pokemon species. I'm talking about Pokemon that have never been seen in Kanto. I would love to go see things for myself, but I'm much too old. Since I can't do it, Xander, I'd like you to go in my place. Hey, I heard that! Gramps, what's with favoring Xander over me all the time? I went and collected more Pokemon and faster, too! You should just let me handle everything. I know. Of course I need your help, too. Now, I need to see both your Pokédexes. And that's done. Now these units can record data on a lot more Pokemon. Now, Xander and grandson. This time, you must really work towards filling your Pokédexes. I urge you to make them the best and most complete of all time. Truly, this is a monumentally great undertaking in Pokemon history. Gramps, calm down. Don't get so excited. I'll get the Pokédex completed. Don't you worry about a thing. I think I'll try looking around one island first. Anyways, I'm out of here. Especially where the running joke of him not knowing his name. I mean, do you ever just have people you're related to that you really, really, really don't like? I'm pretty sure every one of us who has siblings or cousins can relate to the idea of, oh gee, if I could swap you and my family for my best friend, I would do that in a heartbeat, no questions asked. And for what we know about Gary, yeah. He seems very disownable, I could say. Pokemon around the world wait for you, Xander. Can we? No, we can't take that last Pokemon. I think in this version we end up getting the other starters at one of the island locations. There's sometimes that overly chatty and attention-hungry uncle who visits once a year. For Thanksgiving, the worst of family holidays. Alright, y'all. Happy to see you, Tier. Happy to see you right here at the tail end of our stream, but unfortunately, I do have an early AM shift tomorrow, so for the sake of being responsible, also, I'm currently at day 1 of working in a row out of 6, so, I'd like to not slack on the sleep schedule, though things do end up getting better. I end up, on closing shifts for the last 2 days, so it's like 4 days in a row, and then I get a good time to sleep in. But, for the sake of keeping ahead, I will be responsible with my sleep here. We will be raiding into Kahila's suggestion, unless I see something super, super cool in the next 10 seconds. Nope. So we will be raiding into Kashiwa Hakase. Oak, of course. How appropriate. Let me... Yeah, okay, so... we are looking for... I will post that URL in the YouTube chat. Our raid message, of course, will be... smell you later. Which Oak should definitely, absolutely get. Alright, links are sent out. Oh. Did it? Hold on, it told me it told me it gave me an error. Okay, so it's just an error that once. I was wondering if YouTube was blocking me saying smell you later. That would have been funny. Star Sector. I think I've seen quite a few friends playing this, so this will be interesting. Alright, y'all. Silk Song will be tomorrow. I have had an absolute blast tonight, and I look forward to absolutely wonderful streams here in the future. Links are sent out. We will be raiding out in just a moment. Thank you, everyone, so dearly for your attendance. Y'all make my day. And class is dismissed.